guys, welcome back to my channel. Oh my gosh, it sounds so weird to say that. I don't even think when I used to come up here before, I used to be like, welcome back to my channel. It was really just kind of like a, y'all get it, like a little joke. But yes, I promised you guys that I would come back on here and share my experience at the Paul Taylor Intensive. Such an amazing experience overall, okay? So like I also too said, I don't want to be on here too long when I'm talking to y'all. So my goal this time is 15 minutes, no longer. Let's see if we can get her done, okay? Let's see if I can stick to that, right? So yeah, I'm just gonna get straight into it. I first of all want to just thank my director of my program, Deborah Damas, for just all that she does, like as a true like community member of like the dance education world. Like she always has her hands in like really gathering resources for her students, whether it may be for students who like don't have or may be in a place where like they're struggling, like I have been for the past couple of years. So I was not able to be able to afford training outside of like me providing it. Providing for school. Just it's open to anyone. You know what I'm saying? She's so great at her job. So just want to give her flowers. And I just want to thank the whole dance education team at Paul Taylor for even letting me in. I was telling them they don't have an age limit on it, which is such a beautiful thing. But I feel like there are a lot of programs that I look at that I have even looked into about scholarships and things like that, and I noticed that there's always this age cap, and I'm like, I personally, as a woman of faith, know that my calling, my destiny is not determined upon my age. And so that's something I want to talk about even today, about how I know that God has called me. And actually today is my birthday when I'm filming this. It's January 19th, and I just turned 33 years old. And though I look like a youngin', I'm not a youngin'. I don't have the same energy that I used to have. I don't have the same capacity to remember moves like I used to back in the day. And it's all a relearning, even with the thought process of I also too have not had access to be training every day. Even when I was in undergrad, I was not in dance class every single day because I was not a dance major. I was a dance minor. So I was maybe taking class maybe 2 or 3 times out of the week, which was still healthy for that time, but I have not kept that up since I've gotten out. I just haven't been able to make that much, you know what I'm saying? And also too, when I first got out of school, I think I also too my first mindset was not dance. I was really trying to kind of pursue the area where I had got my degree in. So that kind of had threw me off for a little while. And then also too, I think that I was mentioning this in my last video. I don't think that I was raised on what real training was for the professional world, because I was not intending on stepping into that. So if you want to talk, see more about my testimony and kind of where I've gotten from graduating undergrad all the way up until now, it'll be a great video to go back and watch. But this, particularly want to talk about the Taylor Intensive. I was a little nervous. I was talking about this on a live that I did today, and I was sharing I was I don't even know if I want to press send on applying for the scholarship. But I did it. I said I need it, so why not? You know what I'm saying? So why am I gonna not do it because I'm caring about what people think about me? Because that was the only reason to hold me back. Those thoughts that come to my mind, you're too old, you're not in shape, those girls are gonna be running circles around you. And they were. But at the end of the day, what's most important is that I felt like I could learn from them. I was learning from the instructors that were there. And overall the experience was well worth the time and the effort and the energy. So yeah. So the first thing I'll say was that everyone was so welcoming there. A lot of times you think about dinner spaces, I think about attentive spaces, I think about people thinking like, especially people that are kind of like closer to graduating undergrad, or you know, things like that, or even if they're not even considering going to college, people that are in their last years of high school, like it can be, the dance world is very competitive. I mean, anything in performing arts and honestly creativity, I think it's just can be competitive, especially in New York City. So I kind of went there like praying, like asking God, like, Lord, please prepare my heart and my mind that I would just go there and feel safe in my own body, that I would go there and I would just ask him to come with me. Like I asked him just his spirit to be with me, for him to dance with me, him to move through me, for him to give me the strength and the energy, because woo, child, I already had an expectation of like how people can be, right? But everyone in the staff was really welcoming. I'll be clear when I say staff. The dancers also too were very, the other dancers that were participating were really welcoming as well, very kind. And so I will just say that that's a big deal. Leave that at that. The second thing I was beginning to talk about too before was the age thing. They didn't have an age cap on their application, which I was beyond grateful for, but I could definitely tell the difference between like how much I had, the lack of training that I have been really diving into, and then dancers who are dancing all day, you know what I'm saying, or dancing like, you know, all throughout the week, you know. So there's a big difference there, and that did impact me. I was definitely a bit slower than most people, physically, and also to like picking up movement. Something that I have done is set a goal for me to go to gym and class this year at least 3 times a week. So gym 2 times, at least 1 class minimum, and then if I can't go to class, then I'm going to gym 3 times. And so I've been keeping that up literally every week this year after the certificate ended, except for this week. I think I only went to the gym once, but I also took class once. So yeah, I had a lot of like birthday celebration going on, and I was just like, I don't want to have to be carrying my bags off my towel around me so I can shower at the gym and all that kind of stuff. It's like, it could be that, it could be a lot. So I'm giving myself grace for this week. Sorry, back on. But yeah, if anybody wants to reach out, talk to me about the age thing, I would love to have that conversation. But yeah, I pressed through. Technique-wise, they're really getting into the Paul Taylor taught technique, which is a modern technique. And though it has some really interesting like shapes and pathways, as well as like history of how he like the themes behind the movements, and how he constructed them and put them together. It is very unique, and I think it's very peculiar because it does have some very interesting rooted work weave within it. Like one of our instructors was talking to us about this week. I kind of also too noticed it when I was there moving through it, but I think that something I struggle with is finding the flow between like more rooted movement and then like navigating between what is like mostly like my ballet background. Like that's something that I've really been working on since I've been at NYU. It's like trying to take off that Eurocentric hat of like everything needs to be like this and everything's sucked in and I'm all tense, and it's just like, so this is actually supposed to be a movement where you're able to like flow through it and, you know, just be free and have fun. So like switching up those things can be hard for me, especially if it impacts like a very intense setting. So we had a performance at the end of each week that we were there, and I actually feel like I did better the first week in regards to performance wise. Second week I just kind of felt like, I don't know how I felt actually now I'm reflecting back. I feel like it was just maybe the whole process was kind of like weighing on me at that point. And so things were just like, because like you want to set time to rest and recover, but then also too, it's just like you also too have to go over the movements that you're learning and making sure that you're practicing. And so it was definitely exactly what it says that one thing I want to say is I did, and this is kind of to go back on the age thing, but also to kind of see back on the next topic that I have is like I don't think that anybody was maliciously like trying to separate themselves from me, but I think though in the dance world it is natural for people to kind of like navigate and like be closer to people. So first of all in their age group, but then second of all, because they have more in common, but second of all, people who are like more on a particular level of technique. So I did kind of notice that some people would kind of like, when we go across the floor and warm-ups and things like that, would kind of like not want to be in line with me because they know I'm more likely, so I might mess up or I might, something like that. So I did notice little things like that, but I just, at the end of the day, it's just like, it's something that I had to kind of like push past and be like, Lord, like I'm not going to sit in rejection. I'm not going to sit in offense or, anything like that, like, or not people not looking out for me. Like if I was like missing from a piece that we were running and no one's like, hey, Devin's missing, you know what I'm saying? Like those are things that I feel like are built with companies and team members that you're around all the time and you have a connection with, and so they're going to look out for you. And so there were some moments where I kind of felt like the odd man out, but I just honestly have to keep remembering myself on my why of why I'm there is to learn, to grow, to get better. It's not necessarily, even though people were really nice, it's not necessarily to make friends. Like I would love to have made a really strong connection, but it didn't seem to be that way. It was just more of like, okay, like this was a fun experience and it was great for me to learn from the people that were there. I feel like there was some moment with one particular instructor where I felt like I would see them make faces at me. I would see them make faces at other people. Like I would see them kind of like really bothered sometimes when people are not like on it, but at the end of the day that's their prerogative and how they are in a space, what they're bringing to a space. I know me as a teacher, I was not only in that space as a performing artist, but I was in that space as a teacher, as an educator, and I just take things in and I notice how people respond to me. I noticed like there was a moment when I had like my nose was bleeding on the last week of the last performance night. And like a lot of dancers were coming to ask me, was I okay? Other instructors were coming to ask me, I was okay? And this person kind of like blatantly like knew that something happened with me, but just did not acknowledge me or like, ask me was I okay? And like I get checks like that in my mind. Like not to hold grudges or things like that, because at the end of the day it's just like I let those types of things go. But it's just like I notice and I see and I just make sure that I'm putting myself in a place when I'm in that position. When I'm in that position, I know to not treat people that way. To not treat people differently because they may be at a different level than everybody else. So yeah, that's my soapbox on that. And anybody that's watching this that went like, this is no shade to anybody. I'm sharing my experience, my honest opinion. So I hope there's no love lost. But yeah, I'm sharing because I think it's important for people anyone could be watching this video, someone that's thinking about going to an intensive for the first time, someone that's been and hasn't gone in a long time, and it's good to know, what the temperature is like in the rooms that dancers are frequenting in. And I think that I'm being respectful and I'm not to say names. But yeah, there was a great lineup of teachers. I feel like they were like Paul Taylor modern teachers of people who have danced with the company, teaching us. We had people talking to us about prep for our bodies, how that we make sure we're not injuring ourselves. So how do we best prepare our bodies for intensive? How do we keep them geared up each day? How do we help restore even afterwards and things like that? That was really great. We had even a jazz to come in. Tommy, he was really great. I would say he was probably like my favorite person because he really dived in even to the history of jazz and where it stems from, and how he kind of debunked all of our thoughts of like what type of jazz is going to be there. Because I even thought, I'm like, okay, well, I'm at the Paul Taylor School, so their jazz is probably going to be like that Broadway musical theater jazz, but it wasn't. And so it was a sweet, pleasant surprise because that's something that I really, 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 really love is rooted jazz. Something that I've been exploring more since I've been coming to school at NYU and really truly like discovering and unfolding like who I am as a Black female dancer and like what I need to be able to bring to the world, that being my roots. So it's important to me that I'm not like I'm thinking like I need to outdance anybody, but it needs to come from a deeper place, and that's just a personal thing that I'm working on. That I really break down those barriers and those walls and understand that yes, I can bring my ballet, the graceful part of me into the room, but also too I need to bring that fun, that rooted girl, that my parts of my being that people don't know or understand because it's in my life. And so yeah, I'm trying to think. I think that's pretty much it. I literally like am 2 minutes past 15 minutes, but I'm proud of myself. If you guys have any questions about the experience, feel free to reach out to me, leave comments, questions. I said I would love to come up here and do a Q&A about like my experiences thus far, but I can't do that if I don't have questions. So if you're watching, please, I've seen people watching my previous videos, please like, please subscribe, please share. That's what helps these videos get out and like help other people. And so yeah, I just want to say thank you again to Carolyn, to Amy, to Amanda, for allowing me to come. And yeah, I had a good time. And also to our share, one of my classmates was there with me, Adair, and I really loved that experience of being there with her as well, because I actually got to get to know her on a different level, because I've only maybe met her like once at the welcome orientation that they had for her cohort, but because we're in two different cohorts, we really don't have time to connect. So I felt like that was also too like a really great experience to have with her. So even though it may not feel like I really super connected to anyone else, I did feel like I did leave with a connection from someone that is already within my network. So that did kind of help make me feel at home as well. But yeah, I just want to say thank you again to the team there, even the interns that were there as well. They were super helpful and yeah, so encouraging. Like people were really encouraging me. And so that really helped me push me, because there were many days where I was like, should I go back? Should I make an excuse and like not come in? Like those were the thoughts I was battling to try to really quit. So I'm really super proud of myself for getting through the whole thing. Just coming out on the other side with so much insight, not only as a dancer, as I said before, but also to pedagogy. How I want to make people feel welcome in my classroom. Workshops and things that I would do in the future. So yes, until next time, be the light, shine your light, and yes, let me know that also to any video topics that you would like me to dive into on here. I kind of have like a surprise that's kind of outside of these story times or these shares, so stay tuned for those as well. And until next time.